Hi everyone, welcome to The Wellness Architect. I'm your host Mark Negrelli, and today we're going to break down a method that bodybuilders and fitness pros have been using for years: carb cycling for fat loss. It's a powerful strategy that's flexible and allows you to enjoy your favorite foods without trying and being tied to a strict diet. If you've been looking for a way to shed fat without feeling restricted or cutting out entire food groups, then you're in the right place. Let's dive in and figure out how you can use carb cycling to burn fat, boost energy, and keep your life enjoyable. So, let's look at this first. What is carb cycling? To put it simply, it's a strategic way of rotating between high carbs and low carb days based on what your activity level is. Some days, when you're more active or you're working out intensely, you eat more carbs. And on other days, when you're resting or doing just light exercise, you eat fewer carbs. Pretty is that simple. So, what does it accomplish though? Well, carbs are the main body's source of fuel, especially for intense workouts. But when you don't need as much energy, like on rest days, lower carb intake encourages your body to burn fat for fuel instead of storing excess carbs as fat. It's like flipping a switch between muscle building and fat burning. Now, it's important to note that carbs themselves are not the enemy, despite what you see out there and read. They're an essential for energy, performance, and brain function. However, when you eat more carbs than your body needs, it stores them as fat. Carb cycling helps you to avoid this by adjusting your intake based on your body's needs on a given day. Think of it like this: if you're driving a car, you don't fill the tank when it's already full, right? Carb cycling is very similar. You fuel your body when it needs it, and when it doesn't need it, you pull it back. Let's look at bodybuilders. Bodybuilders have been using carb cycle for a very long time to fine-tune their bodies, especially when they need to lose fat while preserving muscle for competitions. When they're training hard, they need those extra carbs to fuel their workouts and recover properly. But on days when they're not training as much, they cut back on the carbs to avoid gaining fat. This technique allows them to stay lean while maintaining muscle mass. In fact, bodybuilders often use carb cycling as part of their cutting phase when they're preparing for competitions and they need to shed fat without losing muscle. So let's look at a real world example. Say you're someone who works out 3 or 4 times a week, and on your workout days, you might eat a higher amount of carbs. Think whole grains, fruits, maybe even some starchy vegetables like sweet potatoes. This gives your body the energy it needs for the gym. And on your rest days, or days when you're doing light activity, you scale it back on the carbs, replacing them with more protein and healthy fats. This approach doesn't just help bodybuilders. It can work for anybody trying to lose fat and maintain muscle mass. What makes carb cycling such an effective strategy for fat loss? Well, there's a number of benefits, but let's take a look. Fat burning. On carb days, your body is forced to use fat for fuel instead of relying on carbs. This is the key for anyone trying to lose fat. Muscle preservation. On high carb days, you replenish glycogen, which helps your muscles recover and grow, ensuring you don't lose muscle whilst you're trying to shed fat. Metabolic boost. One of the biggest issues with regular low carb diet is that your metabolism can slow down over time. But with carb cycling, you're keeping your body guessing by switching between high and low carb days, which can help prevent that slowdown. Flexibility with food. This is probably my favorite part. Carb cycling allows you to enjoy a wide variety of foods without feeling like you're on a restrictive diet. You're not cutting out any food groups, you're just adjusting them when and how much you need them, you eat them. Sustainability. It's a plan you can stick to and stick with. A lot of people fail on diets because they're just too restrictive. But carb cycling gives you room to enjoy your favorite foods and live without feeling deprived. Another great thing about carb cycling is how it can help you prevent fatigue and brain fog that comes with low carb diets. If you've ever tried the keto diet, I'm sure you are very familiar with the keto flu and brain fog. On your high carb days, you'll likely feel a boost in mental clarity and energy. And because you're not cutting carbs completely, it's much easier to stay consistent long term, though it's not a direct strategy specifically linked to extending lifespan in the way practices like caloric restriction and intermittent fasting are often studied. However, let's look at how carb might be support for overall health and longevity. Carb cycling encourages your body to switch between using carbohydrates and fat for energy, promoting metabolic flexibility. This adaptability makes you improve insulin sensitivity and prevent metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes, which are linked to aging and reduced longevity. By promoting fat loss, we're preserving muscle. Carb cycling can help you maintain a healthy body weight, which is crucial for longevity. Obesity is associated with a host of chronic conditions that shorten lifespan, including heart disease and diabetes. If you alter between high and low carb days, it can help balance blood sugar levels and improve insulin sensitivity. Poor insulin sensitivity, which can often lead to insulin resistance, and is key to metabolic aging and related diseases. I'm a type 1 diabetic, I know this myself. Carb cycling helps retain muscle mass, especially during fat loss. Muscle mass tends to decline with age, leading to frailty and reduced quality of life. Preserving your muscle mass as you age is important for staying strong and active, which can support longevity. Low carb days, when combined with nutrient-dense foods like vegetables, healthy fats, and lean proteins, it helps to reduce inflammation. Chronic inflammation is linked to many age-related diseases, including cardiovascular disease and cancer. Proper cycling of carbs can support hormone balance, particularly in related to leptin and cortisol, which play roles in appetite regulation, stress, and overall metabolic health. Keeping those hormones in balance is key to long-term health and vitality. While carb cycling isn't marketed as a direct longevity strategy, its ability to improve your metabolic health and preserve muscle mass and promote fat loss contributes to a healthier lifestyle, which indirectly supports longevity and a more vibrant life. So, carb cycling, how would you put it into a busy lifestyle? I know you've got a busy life. I know work-life balance, family, maybe even squeezing in some social time. So how do you do this? How do you make carb cycling work with everything else that's going on? Well, it's easier than you think, to be fair. Here's how I do it without making it feel like a chore. Take a look at your schedule. Are there certain days when you know you'll be more active, like when you've got a big workout planned or a long day at work? Make those your high carb days. On days when you're less active, like on weekends or recovery days, make those your low carb days. It's quite simple. Planning your meals ahead of time. I'm sure you've heard this. You don't have to prep for an entire week though, and it makes you feel overwhelmed. Just prepping a couple of meals ahead of time for your high carb and low carb days can make all the difference. Quick example. On high carb days, you could have grilled chicken with sweet potatoes and veggies. While on low carb days, swap the sweet potatoes and have avocado and a bit more protein, some that kind of thing. It's that easy. For your high carb days, simple additions like rice, quinoa, pasta, they all work wonders. And on your low carb days, stick to veggies, lean proteins, healthy fats like olive oil, nuts, and seeds. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just a few small adjustments make a big impact. Despite what you see on social media or when you follow these Instagram influencers, it is easier than it looks. Go back to basics. That's the best way forward. If you know you're going out for dinner or you have a social event, you can plan for it by making that your high carb day. Carb cycling's really flexible enough that you can still enjoy your meals while you're out without feeling guilty and like you're getting off track. One of the best things you can do is batch cook if you're really busy. For example, batch cook a quinoa and your rice at the start of the week, and you'll have your carbs ready for your high carb days. For your low carb days, have pre-prepped protein sources like grilled chicken, eggs, and just pair them with vegetables and healthy fats. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you have a busy week and can only carb cycle on a few days, then that's okay. The goal is consistency over time. So here's some tips for success. To wrap things up, here's a few more tips to help you succeed with carb cycling. If this is your first time trying carb cycling, keep it simple. Maybe try 3 low carb days followed by 2 high carb days. Once you get the hang of it, you can adjust it to fit your schedule and all your needs. It sounds easy because it is easy. While you're doing it, track your energy levels. Pay attention to how you feel on high carb days and low carb days. Everybody is different. So if you feel sluggish on low carb days, you might need to add a few extra carbs just to stay energized. And that's okay. Water is your best friend, especially when your carb intake changes. Hydration helps with digestion, energy levels, and even fat loss. Please, like anything in fitness, it takes time. Results take time. Stick with carb cycling for a few weeks and give your body time to adjust. You'll likely start seeing fat loss improvement in energy and better muscle retention later on. So, there you have it. Carb cycling is a flexible, effective way to burn fat, preserve muscle, and still enjoy the foods you love. Whether you're new to fitness or you've been doing it for years, this method can help you reach your fat loss goals without feeling you're on a restrictive diet. Thanks for tuning into The Wellness Architect. If you have any questions or want to learn more, feel free to reach out. And as always, don't forget, subscribe for more tips on how to build a healthier, happier life. And until next time, stay well, stay balanced, and take care of yourselves. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks.